who you are. You're not an excuse. You're not weak. Things are in your way for a lot of reasons. And some of these things that are in your way, it's because you allow it to be in your way. I blame you for giving up. I blame you for saying you don't have it. I blame you for saying that you're done. Don't be that person. Don't be that person living in dark shadows. Be the light, even when there's darkness. Throughout struggles, throughout hardships, throughout setbacks, throughout failures, you're learning. And soon you will grow and be something that they've never seen before. Be more, do more, be better, think beyond measure. But don't waste time thinking too long, because time itself is moving on. And through those struggles, you will understand who you are. But don't you dare give up. Be the best makeup of yourself. And stand up. And don't lay down. And if you have to lay down, keep your eyes open and get up off that ground and get up out of that bed and say, I'm here, I'm ready to work, I'm ready to push, I'm ready to live. There is no struggle that I cannot handle, for I am who I am, and I am greater than my circumstances. I am greater than my struggles. It hurts, it stings, it may make me a little bit uncomfortable, but I didn't sign up to be comfortable. I signed up to work and earn my keep. And on this day, that's what I must do. You have an opportunity to do better and be better, but you can't be comfortable. You've got to start your day and find something that's going to challenge you. Throughout life, many people choose to take the easy path. They don't want to work hard. They don't want to go to that next level and go beyond. They want to stay complacent. They want to be comfortable. But not you. You have to finally decide that this is the time for you to step outside of that comfort zone and wake up and do something that's going to make you stronger, that's going to make you more efficient. You don't have time to be lazy. You don't have time to make excuses. You have to believe that there's an opportunity for you. One life, one chance. That's all you have. Don't waste it being negative. Don't waste it making excuses. Don't waste it being weak. Your time is right now. It's up to you. Are you prepared to step up to the plate? Are you going to let other people decide your fate? Are you going to grasp and hold on to your destiny? You are responsible for the outcome of your life. There are no guarantees. I understand that. But if you put forth effort, if you truly believe in what you are doing in your life today, and it's making a difference, then attack it. And believe in it. And stand on it. Don't look for the easy way. The time that we're living in right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's a shame that too many people have given up. They don't want to be better. They'd rather stay the way they are. They don't understand how hard it is and what it means to get up and push forward. But that's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. It's about the struggle before the success. It's about the life. It's about you. But are you ready to do it? Are you ready to make the sacrifices? I dare you to do better. I dare you to say enough is enough, and I'm going to step outside of my comfort zone. And it's up to you to do better. It is up to you to be accountable for your actions. Laziness will not save you. The sacrifices that you make sure that they count. I'm not saying that you have to give up your life, but you have the opportunity to fight for it. You have the opportunity to change something that is unique within you. You have an opportunity to expand your horizons. You have an opportunity to not be limited. You have an opportunity to go further and to be stronger. Let people know that you mean business. Let the world know that you're standing on business. So what? It sucks. Can you imagine right now in your life at this moment, right now, how many people that don't have the chances that you have today? They had a chance, but they didn't take the chance. They stayed exactly the way they were. They didn't want to grow. They didn't want to get better. They just said, this is who I am, and I'm okay with that. Why would you want to just be okay? Why would you just want to be ordinary? What's wrong with being extraordinary? What's wrong with going the extra mile? What's wrong with working a little bit harder? What's wrong with getting up a little bit earlier? What's wrong with going in the gym and pushing that weight a little bit harder? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with eating better? What's wrong with loving a little bit better? What's wrong with us? What's wrong with you? Are you ready? Are you prepared? Are you willing? Are you hungry enough? Are you willing enough? Or you're going to just sit around and say, this is too hard. I don't want to work hard. I don't understand life. Why does life suck so bad? Why do you believe that lie so much? Do you really believe that life sucks so bad? Life doesn't suck. You don't want to get stronger. You don't want to be better. You refuse to do what's right. You refuse to struggle. You refuse to be committed. Nothing should be handed to you. Nothing is worth having if you don't work for it. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. A day, a time, a minute, an hour, the moment, it's yours. Now do something. But don't waste time saying that you can't do this, saying you can't do that. You know how many people say that every day? I slept through my alarm clock. What does your alarm clock have to do with you? Your alarm clock is the reason why you're breathing. Your alarm clock is the reason that you have life. Your alarm clock is the reason that you're able to do the things that you do right now. An alarm clock? I didn't set my alarm clock. You know what? That sucks because you're depending on something to get you out of bed. That sucks. That sucks that you won't get up and be better. That sucks that you keep making excuses. You know what else sucks? It's when people keep doing the same thing over and over again, and yet still they keep going back to where they started. That sucks. So if you're just going to get out there and do nothing with your life, then what good is your life? Why pretend? Why fake it? You want something handed to you? You want to show the world that you earned something that you didn't earn the right way? You didn't earn that. You didn't work for that. It didn't suck that bad. It wasn't that hard. You didn't struggle. You didn't fail. You didn't learn. You just took an opportunity, but the opportunity was not worthy. It was worthless. Get out there and change something. Get out there and evolve into something greater. Don't you realize when you're struggling and it sucks so bad and you're pushing through adversities, the circumstances are surrounding you, you're having difficult times in your life, sometimes people are turning their back on you, but yet still, you're still alive, you're still working, you're still pushing. Do you know how powerful that is? Do you know how much inspiration that you instill, not only in yourself, but others around you who look to you? You don't always have to be the strongest to be strong. You don't always have to be the fastest to be fast enough. You don't always have to be the richest to have a rich mindset. That's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen.
You take people, and I've told you this, and you expose them voluntarily to things that they are avoiding and are afraid of, that they know they need to overcome in order to meet their goals, their self-defined goals. If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger. And you don't know what the upper limits to that are, because you might ask yourself, if for 10 years, if you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do, what would you be like? Well, there are remarkable people who come into the world from time to time. There are people who do find out over decades-long periods what they could be like if they were who they were, if they spoke their being forward. And they get stronger and stronger and stronger, and we don't know the limits to that. We do not know the limits to that. And so you could say, well, in part, perhaps the reason that you're suffering unbearably can be left at your feet, because you're not everything you could be, and you know it. If you're going to rectify your weaknesses, you have to admit your insufficiency to your own shame. Now, if the gap between you and your ideal is so great that it paralyzes you, you shrink that. If you hide and you don't let what's inside of you out, and you don't bring into the world what you could bring, and you become cynical and bitter, you will start doing very dark things. Not only will you not add to the world what you could add, but you'll start being jealous of people who are competent and doing well and work to destroy them. So that's the pathway to hell, really. People can have very, very difficult situations, can be in very, very difficult situations. And it's in those difficult situations where the search for gratitude becomes something that is by necessity deeper and more difficult. But that doesn't mean it's not appropriate. And there is a very tight association between loving your enemy and being grateful in spite of the terrible things that occur in your life. You are morally required to maintain faith, to aim up, and to treat other people the way you would want to be treated, no matter what's happened to you. You aren't necessarily the best judge of what you need. You need something extremely valuable that you can move towards. And it's easy to be deluded in what you want. And that's the sort of delusions that people chase if they chase power. If you decide instead that you're going to just say what you believe to be true, you have to let go of the consequences. And you might think, well, I don't want to let go of the consequences because I want to control what's going on. But what you miss then is adventure, because if you don't control what's going on, you don't know what the hell's going to happen. The proper comparison group for you is you yesterday. You're the only control group that's appropriate to you, because you have a certain set of talents and possibilities and limitations and tragedies that are truly unique to you. And so you might be comparing yourself to someone else on some dimension, but it's not a reasonable comparison, because you don't know what talents they were blessed with, and you also don't know what opportunities they had that you didn't, etc. It's just not a reasonable comparison. It's a lot better to think about who you were and then to think, well, could you be somewhat better in some dimension? And the positive thing about that is the answer is almost always yes. If you're comparing yourself to someone or even to a future self and the gap is so painful that it paralyzes you, then you've created a dragon that you don't have the tools to master. And so what you have to do is you have to scale the dragon down to size. And you want to scale the dragon down to size until it's a size that you are willing to move toward, however small that is. Now, you know, if you're here and your ideal is here and that gap is unbearable, then you reduce the gap and you reduce the gap. And you're going to have to do that anyways, because you're not going to move from where you are to perfect in one fell swoop, right? There's going to be incremental steps. So you have to fill in that hierarchy of progression with a high enough resolution representation so that you can start to move forward. Because you want to discover where you're insufficient. Now, it's painful. No, it's painful to encounter an impediment in the form of someone else's opinion that might show you where you're blind and ignorant, or willfully blind even. But the advantage to that is you can rectify the error, and then as you move forward, you're stronger. You should always ask a stupid question. And that doesn't mean the sort of question that someone who wasn't paying attention would ask. If you're listening to someone and you don't understand what they're saying, and you reveal that, you're revealing your ignorance, you know, and maybe you're in a room full of people and you think you're the only person stupid enough to not get it, which is very rarely the case, by the way. The thing is, though, if you reveal that ignorance to yourself and to the other person, they can rectify it. And if you do that 1,000 times, you're not ignorant anymore. If you ask 1,000 dumb questions and you listen to the answer, then you know 1,000 things, some of them deep, that you didn't know before. That's the advantage to searching your soul for unrequited sins and attempting to atone. That's not a delusion, right? It's an attempt to set yourself right.
One of the things that I think I see people respond to this degree of pressure when they think about what is going to happen long term. I have discomfort that is in front of me now, that I need to face, that I need to go through, if I'm going to get to something in the future that I think that I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And one of the solutions that they come up with, which isn't a solution, but it kind of is to them, is I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah.
You know, that no decision is kind of the same as a neutral choice.
Right.
One of my friends, Alex, has got this quote which I love. He says, "The heaviest things in life aren't iron and gold, but unmade decisions. The reason you are stressed is that you have decisions to make and you're not making them."
There's no indecision because you age. Like you pay for your indecision. It's a decision. It's a decision to avoid, fundamentally. The people who are using fear to garner power point to the various apocalypses that might befall us. And it's difficult to counter them because the future is always an apocalyptic horizon. Like everything can fall apart and has before and might well again and will, in fact, in your life as you age and die. And so it's very easy to conjure up an apocalypse. Then the question becomes not, is that apocalypse potentially real? Because the answer to that is yes, but what attitude should you have towards that? Naive, that's not good. Cynical, that's better, but it's still not good. It's another form of hell, and it also tends to make the potential apocalypses more likely. Well, so what do you have when you move beyond cynicism? And what you have when you move beyond cynicism is wisdom. And that's not naive, it's courageous. Well, one of the really difficult things to learn when you're down and out is how far you're down. Because it's humiliating. You know, I was ill recently, and when I started to recover, I couldn't really button my shirts. I had to learn to do that again. I had forgotten how to put my hands on keyboard. I didn't know where to put my hands. I had to learn to type again. Now, I hadn't lost all the knowledge, and it came back quite quickly. And the reason I'm saying that is because one of the impediments to people who've really taken a blow in their life is that things have fallen apart around them so badly that where they have to start is humiliating even to consider. The rule, it's a pretty straightforward rule when you want to get back on your feet, and the rule is you have to make the task small enough so that you'll do it, no matter how small that is. And that can, and I've worked with people. I mean, one of the things I've become well known for is my advice to start by cleaning up your room. But I had plenty of clients who couldn't go home and clean up their room. They hadn't cleaned up their room for like 20 years for all sorts of reasons. Maybe because every time they did try to do anything positive in their family, no matter what it was, they were immediately punished and undermined. And so in a situation like that, you cut it down so that maybe the first thing they do is clean up, like maybe they look inside one drawer and see the mess that's there and just look at it for a minute and think about how they might reorganize it if they were going to. When people are very down and out and they decide to make a move forward, in some ways they're facing the whole panoply of problems that confront them in the guise of that single problem, right? It's all lurking behind it, right? It's like, they see the tip of a reptile's tail outside a gigantic closet, let's say, and they look and they think, well, that's just the tip of the tail. What harm can it do me? But it's connected to the whole damn beast. And the advantage to that is that if you make that first step forward, you're actually advancing in the face of all that opposition. The disadvantage is that the first task seems so small that you literally have to be on your knees to be humble enough to lower yourself to take that first step. God, is that all I can do? I'm so useless.
Well, what's humility? What's the opposite of pride? Well, humility is starting where you are. That's what humility is. And it's annoying because, like if your life is a mess, then you have to see that you're the person in that mess. Then you have to understand that your first attempt to redress the mess might not be something you're particularly proud of, I saw this lots in my clinical practice where people the first steps they had to take to put things in order were pretty embarrassing. It's like, really? That's all I can do? Hey man, uphill is better than downhill. So even if you have to start small, you accrue success exponentially. You accrue defeat exponentially too. That's the abyss that is hell. You start going downhill, you go downhill faster and faster. You start going uphill, you go uphill faster and faster. So even if you have to start small, or even painfully small, which is highly probable, especially if you're trying to tackle something that's really plagued you, it doesn't really matter.
How small?
I would say take the step that you can take, that you will take, that actually feels like some accomplishment. Imagine you're dealing with a 3-year-old kid and you want to encourage him. Okay, you want to set him a task that you don't want him to say, Dad, I can do that when I was 2, right? But you don't want to set him a task that there's not a chance he'll manage. You want to set him a task that will stretch him beyond where he is, that has a reasonable probability of success, right?
Why? Why stretch him from where he is?
Well, because you want to grow. I mean, look, if you love a child, you love the child for who he is and who he could be. And you want to indicate your love for both of those. I think if you're a father, you tilt even more towards love for who the child could be. You want confidence, okay? More to the point, you want the confidence that's based in competence. Otherwise, it's narcissistic. Okay, so how do you develop that? Well, you watch yourself exceed your limits. And then you think, oh, look at that. There's something in me that can exceed my limits. That's your true self. That's a good way of thinking about it.
And in doing so, you actually realise that limits exist and that you imposed one on yourself in the first place.
Well, that's one of the things you can realise, certainly, that also you don't exactly know where the limits are. It's like, well, I exceeded that. It's like, okay, well, now what? What upward arc of exceeding limits? That's Jacob's ladder. I would say there's no upward limit. There's yet.
I would rather tell the world what I've done than what I'm going to do. There's enough people talking. Just make the move and don't talk until it's time for the checkmate. Move in silence. One of the most underrated superpowers on earth is moving in silence, thinking in silence, caucusing in silence, meditating, praying, working on your craft, doing the dark work, behind the scenes where nobody can see it, nobody can congratulate you, nobody can affirm you, nobody can celebrate you. I'm doing this thing not to be celebrated. I'm doing this thing not to be noticed and acknowledged and supported. I'm doing this thing because if I don't do this, I'm not going to achieve what it is that I'm after. This is the power of moving in silence. If I'm going to move in silence, I've got to know how to plan in silence and think in silence and meditate and pray and put the work in behind the scenes. Nobody can see it but me. Every rising star that you see, every innovator and trailblazer and creator and philanthropist and minister and business person or athlete or entertainer, we see them at this height, but we don't see the work. You were not there when they cried and they bled and they sweat and they almost quit and they almost threw in the towel and they were left alone to continue the work, to pray, to believe, to think, to caucus, to plan it out and then execute and come back and shock everybody. I'm not going to say a word until I win. I'm not posting about it. I'm not trying to prep you. You don't need a trainer. I'm going to make an announcement that I won. Not that I'm working, but I won. Checkmate. Checkmate. Somebody shout checkmate. Somebody drop it in the comments. Checkmate. Move in silence. Drop it in the comments. Checkmate. 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 You talked about me, you doubted me, you deserted me, you left me for dead. Watch me checkmate. And I'm going to do it in silence. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to say a word until I win. There are seasons in life where we get to that need to be played and lived out like a chess game. Don't talk until it's time. A chess player does not talk until the time has come for the checkmate. Man, drop it in the text. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate. Stop talking. Let him think. Checkmate. Successful people have mastered the art of spending time alone. They understand the power and the leverage points when I get time with myself. And I get in my head, and I get in my heart, and I understand my behaviors and my belief systems and my parameters and what I need to do and how I need to sow and where I need to send my energy and how I need to execute in the day. They understand it's a superpower, but everybody doesn't need to know what you're doing. And this is why we have so many copycats and knockoffs and counterfeits and frauds, because you brought people along with you that were not in your inner circle along throughout your process while you were building it instead of just revealing it after it was already done. Because this is the type of season I'm about to step into. You talked about me, you doubted me, you deserted me, you left me for dead. Watch me checkmate, and I'm going to do it in silence. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to say a word until I win. Just show up and be finished with it. Stop telling the world every step of the process and you haven't won yet. Win, win, win. And after you win, then let them interview you. Let the contracts drop on the table. Let the documentary come out. But win, you got a word. And when you win, checkmate, checkmate, checkmate. Understand your limitations. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Where are you losing? Where are you winning? How do you need to change your beliefs to align with the correct behaviors? What type of behaviors and parameters and values do you need to have established and hardwired within yourself? Who do I need to become to accomplish what it is I've been destined to do? When you spend that time alone and you can think and you can pray and you can meditate, and everybody's not in your midst, you're able to grow something that could leave a legacy and impact the lives of millions of people. Never underestimate the power of getting alone with yourself and getting dialed in with what you've been called to do and then how you're going to go about doing it. Oftentimes we find the person who's living paycheck to paycheck doesn't want to think. They just want to work and get paid. It's the millionaires and billionaires and six-figure earners and networkers and busy bees and people that are out there shaking hands, stepping into rooms and arenas, building products, creating opportunity, innovators, trailblazers. These are the people that have spent time alone thinking about what it is that they called to do and how they're going to execute. They moved in silence. They thought alone. They prayed alone, just for a moment, just for a season. Nothing wrong with getting together with friends and family and having a corporate construct, but there is an unfair advantage when I can get along with myself and I can talk to myself in the mirror and tell myself, self, you got stuff to do. Self, you have things to become. Self, there are ways you have to go about this. And you need to be flexible, you need to be agile. It's God first in my house or nothing else. We start to establish our values and we start to understand ourselves and what makes us tick. Everybody doesn't need to know all the moving parts and the pain and the tears and the sacrifice that you've made. Just show up on stage and win. And after you win, then you can talk about how you won. If your dream only requires you, then it's not big enough. It starts with you, but it doesn't end with you. Your team is coming. Drop it in the comments, man. My team is coming, but it starts with me. My team is coming, but it starts with me. My team is coming, but it starts with me.
Take the time to quiet yourself from distractions and negativity. Not everyone needs to know your every move. Sometimes you just gotta be quiet and silence yourself and close out the noise that is around you. Moving in silence, being quiet while you're on your journey. People today keep up so much noise. They want everyone to know that they're there. But not everybody is going to celebrate with you when they see that your efforts are going in the right direction. There are going to be many things that's going to hold you back and slow you down from your progress. But if you're not taking the time and taking the necessary steps to get there, then you will never see what's beyond that horizon. Moving in silence is the best way to do your business. Because when it's all said and done, ladies and gentlemen, it's your business. Whatever it is that you are seeking in your life, be quiet from time to time. Sure, you can share some information with people, but not everybody needs to know your business. Because your business is yours. And it doesn't belong to anyone else. Whatever you're doing out there right now, if you're moving in a positive direction, keep doing exactly what you need to do. But do not allow outside interference to hinder you from your success. There is power within you. There is uniqueness within you. There is strength within you. Just be quiet and go forward. Be what you need to be. Hold on to everything that you possess within yourself and do your work.
So I'm writing an essay on cats. Cats in art history. I'm an art history major.
Most people don't want to go to that extra mile. Most people don't want to find that extra because it sucks. It's miserable. It's lonely. You talk about that you were lonely by yourself. I was the same way. And that used to hurt me growing up. Now I thrive in that shit. That's the only place to be.
It's that one time where I have an hour or hour and a half every day. It's dark out, it's quiet, and on my phone, there's no notifications. My mind is clear.
My name is Kobe Bryant, 17 years old, and I was invited to parties or family gatherings on the weekend. So on Fridays and Saturdays, I was doing my restaurant with my basketball and basically doing myself to sleep. And I think that was the best thing that could ever happen to me. Because during those lonely hours in the rec room, I discovered the hunger, motivation, and desire to be the best possible basketball player that I could be.
When I get alone with myself, I get alone with my thoughts, I realize I've made solitude a monster masquerading in my life as a constant reminder that I am not enough, when the truth is, solitude is a gift.
Admit it, you aren't like them. You're not even close. You may occasionally dress yourself up as one of them, watch the same mindless television shows as they do, maybe even eat the same fast food sometimes. But it seems that the more you try to fit in, the more you feel like an outsider, watching the normal people as they go about their automatic existences.
The one companion that's always going to be with you is yourself.
I believe that the most important daily practice that any one of us can do in the 21st century is a daily practice of solitude. And when I say solitude, I'm simply talking about time with yourself.
There are going to be seasons in your life where nobody is coming. Nobody's coming to support you. Nobody's coming to help you. Nobody's coming to save you. No one is coming to rescue you. You got to pull yourself out of the pit of misery and put the work in. Sure, you can talk about it. Sure, you can plan it. At some juncture, you have to disappear and put the work in and come back and shock everybody that doubted you. The thing of dreams, what you see in the movies, can become your reality when you work for it. It's the deposits and the contributions that we make behind the scenes where nobody can see it. It's the days and the minutes and the moments and the hours and the reps that you put in. It's the meals that you missed. It's the times that you lost sleep. And people may have thought you were losing your mind because you logged out of social media for months at a time to build something. You paused on hanging out with the boys or the girls so you can manifest it, so you can see it finally. I've come to the resolve that every table that I sit at, every room that I walk in, every stage that I stand on, every life that I enter, the question I want to ask myself and the question that I want to ask you is, did things get better because you were there? It is what we do in secret. It is what we do in silence. It is how we work on ourselves and condition ourselves when nobody can see it, that will determine how we execute in public. And I'm just wondering if there's anybody listening to me out there that has come to the resolve that now is the time to become the person you know you've been destined to be. Most of us are not okay with silence. We gotta talk. We gotta hear TV. We gotta listen to the radio. We gotta watch social media. It's just a constant, wrapped in this world of distraction and noise. We never get to the place of manifestation. Learn how to do this thing without talking about it. Multitasking is not for most people. Being a jack of all trades is not something to be proud of. It's not a badge of honor. That you will have a desire and hunger to master something, to work smart and not just hard. Release what God has given you. Master one thing at a time. Everything that is within us, we give to an idea. When we can get alone with ourselves, we can execute relentlessly. Because whatever it is that's been fighting your bloodline, whatever it is that's been running through your family, I pray that your testimony is that it ran in your family until it ran into you. And the moment that it ran into you, it got a rude awakening. We can be steady and persistent under pressure. We won't buckle or grow fatigued if we can understand our design and how to faithfully fulfill the assignment that is on our life.
Not everybody needs to know your every move, your every step. Because sometimes there are outsiders that will come in and they will distract you from your destiny. When you quiet yourself, when you turn down the volume from all of the things that are holding you back and turn up the volume within you and knowing that you have all you need within yourself to push forward, then all things are possible.
So if I could tell you anything in this moment, it would be to divorce distractions, living vicariously through the lives of people that are posting on social media, not their journey, not step by step, not the process, but they're posting their highlight reels. They're showing you the best of their life. And you're comparing your worst days to their best days. You're distracted. Get off social media for a moment. Anybody that built something significant in the age of social media took a step back. They unplugged. They uninstalled the app for a season. You gotta live at the edge of your abilities, constantly challenging yourself to jump higher, leap farther, run faster, to break through, not to go around. If we're going to manifest the future that we see in our heads and hold it in our hands, then we have to rewrite the code. We've got to unlock new paradigms, new behaviors. Beat on your craft and work on yourself so diligently, so vigorously, so energetically, so dynamically, so very strategically that we force ourselves to achieve.
Just be quiet and work in silence. This is all that is needed from you. So whatever life has for you, and you stand up, and you work hard, and you keep moving, and you keep believing, and you stay powerful.
There are many of you listening to me right now. You can drop it in the comments. You've never been single. And some of you have been single your whole lives. But here's my question. Can you create? Can you implement? Can you build? Can you execute? Can you invent it? Can you imagine it and fulfill it alone? Without sharing the details, without spilling the beans. Can you build something so beautiful, so life-giving, so unbelievable with just you and yourself? Or perhaps you and your coach, you and your mentor, you and that one person that you know you can depend on. I don't need to communicate this thing to the world. I just need to get it done. You can't build a business. You can't erect an empire with the wrong people and the wrong systems. We never really get to the place of releasing our brilliance and uncovering our gifts, talents, and ability because we don't spend enough time with ourselves, beating on our craft, becoming the best version of ourselves. We spend so much time talking about what we're going to do, posting on social media about what we think, that we spend so much time and resource and energy, and we never really become